Hello everyone and welcome. My name is Sanya. Big thanks to Quirks for hosting our panel today. I hope it gives you some food for thought as you continue to plan and launch innovations in the year ahead. Today I'm joined by a group of experts to share immense knowledge on new product development, anywhere from planning and conceptualizing to developing and testing, and then finally launching new products. First up, we have Angeliki Maragkou, the Global Strategic Insights and Analytics Director and the Head of Center of Excellence at Bayer Consumer Health. Hello and welcome.
Hi, happy to be here.
Next up, Stijn Smet, Managing Director at Academy for Corporate Entrepreneurship, a company that focuses on helping organizations accelerate innovation and that was acquired by Verhaert just last week.
Hello, good afternoon. It's nice to be here and I'm looking forward to this discussion.
Then we have Maria Djuric, the Product Director at EyeSee with a vast and rich experience working in the telco, FMCG and media industries.
Happy to be here. Hi.
And we have Mirna, the Head of Insights at EyeSee, who's bringing a plethora of knowledge from working with clients from across industries to our table today.
Hi, what an exciting topic. I'm looking forward to talking about innovation.
And lastly, Milica Kovac, who is EyeSee's product manager with a lot of previous experience in consumer behavior research.
Hi, Sonia. Thanks for having me.
Thank you all for joining, and let's jump straight into it. So statistically, you have better chances of guessing the outcome of flipping a coin than having a successful innovation. The truth is that at every stage of developing a new product, there are a lot of moving parts that you need to get right, starting with ideation and all of the following iterations, to planning, researching, and launching, as well as many more in between, moments that can make or break the success of a new product. So while the odds may seem stacked against brands who are planning to push out more new products, today we will tackle how to ensure a pathway towards successful innovation. But first, we must start by understanding the challenges and bottlenecks of this process. So Maria, what are the usual new product development challenges across industries? What have you seen come up time and time again?
According to Harvard Business School professor Clayton Christensen, there are over 30,000 new products introduced every year, and a whopping 95% of them fail. The investment for new products are massive, and executives must weigh in a myriad of information, both internal and external, to be able to decide whether to go or not with a new product. One of those important pieces of information is the consumer response, and that is where the researchers jump in. By estimating the in-market success of newly developed products, they reduce the risk and help companies prevent costly failures.
Mirna, what have you noticed clients look for when developing and testing their NPDs?
Well, the biggest as well as the most challenging thing for our clients currently is trying to make a big impact with incremental change. Well, everyone wants to be bold and launch the next big thing, but not everyone is willing to make a huge leap doing so. Making small, systematic steps definitely feels more comfortable for clients at the moment.
Good point. So, Stijn, how would you go about removing uncertainty when developing innovation? Is there a way to methodically de-risk innovations?
Well, yes, I believe there is a rather generic best practice pathway on how to innovate successfully, and we call it the innovation journey. Of course, each development faces different challenges, but the big steps are always the same. And this journey consists of design thinking and lean startup principles, and it involves in many cases a lot of iterations with your target audience. And these iterations they require experimentation and a mindset to show something to consumers you're not ready to produce yet. And this mindset may seem trivial, but in many industries, the feasibility issues of your ability to produce a product are quite fixable and do not often lead to a failed market launch. The biggest questions that need answering are mostly like, 1, do you cover a problem worth solving? 2, are people willing to adopt your solution? And 3, are people willing to pay on a sustainable way for that solution? So when we provide accelerator programs that we offer at the Academy for Corporate Entrepreneurship, we always include like a prototype fund for innovation teams. And this prototype fund allows them to pick the right experiment and to get a party involved to execute a rapid experiment in, let's say, 2 business days. And that really accelerates progress and it bypasses all the corporate approval flows. That would be my answer for how to go about removing uncertainty when developing innovations.
Angeliki, in your experience, what are the practices or approaches for minimizing the risk of an unsuccessful innovation?
So yeah, it's NPD development is a highly challenging task. It requires teams to take under consideration throughout the development cycle a number of parameters that are both complex and constantly changing. And in order to be successful, you need to fully meet and excel all aspects in the equation of be meeting a real unmet need, have a good product and a good activation. And why it's very challenging is because you really need to start from a consumer, and the challenge needs to distill a true and unmet consumer need that come with superior, in our case, in healthcare benefits or distinct benefits from the existing solutions. Those solutions need to have differentiated features that address real and long-term trends, not fads. Now, when it comes to the approaches or let's say thinking of how we can minimize the risk of innovation, I would say that the most important one is to always strive for cross-functional collaboration throughout the process. Avoid the silo in thinking. Bring to life the unmet needs and the whole consumer super journey. Think about, early on the intended experience of consumers, so as to make sure that everyone is at the same level of understanding and is fully immersed, all functions are fully immersed on the unmet need and the job to be done. Revisit the consumer shopper journey frequently and ensure that each phase of testing and development lands the desired outcome. So think about, from the zero moment of truth until the ultimate moment of truth. Also, in the late stages of innovation, we combine methods. So it's not one size fits all, and it's not just one approach. We're thinking, each element of innovation separately and all together to minimize the risk. So we are testing, the packaging in context, in virtual environments. We're testing the full mix into together with the marketing activation. Okay, so we assume we have a clear plan in mind or different scenarios of how the activation in market would look like, and we simulate different scenarios.
Let's turn back to Maria. How are NPDs traditionally tested? What are some of the most common solutions?
Well, traditionally, market research agencies rely on large sets of data when testing NPDs. In-home usage test data for trials combined with surveys and household panel data, which are then fed into complex mathematical models that predict market share and volumes. There are several drawbacks to this model. It is a very costly and lengthy process, which is sometimes not user-friendly for end customers. At EyeSee, we have developed a much faster solution that enables our clients to receive not only the estimated market share of the new product, but provides also a better understanding of the category and brand dynamics by answering some of the most important client questions, like how visible and engaging is the new product in the competitive environment on the shelf? Will it lead to category growth? Will the brand sales increase? And what are the switching power and cannibalization?
And which types of innovations have you, Mirna, noticed clients have been pushing for lately in comparison to like a few years back?
In my opinion, innovations have not changed enough. Clients are still playing it pretty safe, developing mostly new line extensions, spreading to new geographies with existing SKUs, or targeting specific SKUs from competitors with similar products. Given all that is going on globally, this should be a time of change, with entirely new tendencies emerging. And what better way to check if new ideas work than to test them and see how consumers react in a completely safe and reliable way? Even though 80% of all ideas will fail, as they should, clients will have gathered invaluable knowledge for all future endeavors. And what do you know? In the remaining 20%, there may be a true game changer for the whole category.
What about you, Angeliki? Are there any particular types of innovations you've been launching at Bayer?
Despite the fact that we see, let's say, a lot of changes when it comes to the retailers, the channels that they use. So e-commerce has accelerated a lot, and we need to be prepared and accelerate as well. But what I see is related to the fact that specific, let's say, NPDs have changed, have accelerated during COVID. So not only physical products that support physical health, but a lot around the mental health. So we're talking about what COVID saw us is even more the need for holistic health and the need to support consumers' mental health. Outside, of course, of the growing community and energy boost that we see innovations in many possible formats.
From your experience, Stijn, what are some of make or break points in the development process?
I think I see that many organizations struggle with killing your darlings, right? Ideas are either pursued against all the evidence because of lack of better alternatives, and they become zombie projects that drag on endlessly. Or there is too much inflow of potentially good ideas that get shelved because of a lack of resources to execute those ideas. And of course, this requires a consistent evaluation framework with low to mid-certainty confidence levels delivered by lean validation experiments, let's say. And what we all really need to understand is this. Innovation is by default a risky business. So some ideas will end up in a dead-end street either way, and that's okay. According to quite recent research by Nielsen, over 80% of B2C market launches are discontinued after 1 year. And that's just the inevitable axioma that we call the law of market failure, right? But that specific context of market failure requires also a risk spreading mindset within a portfolio approach. So successful companies experiment more than others, but they also know how to execute those experiments in a lean and in a cost-effective way. At Amazon, for example, the number of experiments ran per day, that's an innovation KPI. So companies also need to consider how to deal with more simultaneous ideas for early stage, and to come up with an internally scalable innovation program. And at AFCE, we use, for example, the Kickbox program for early stage ID maturation. And this enables the internal entrepreneurs of a corporate to de-risk their idea just slightly along this journey, and with some training and mentoring involved. And it's only a small involvement, but it delivers proof on whether or not to pursue this idea. And that Kickbox, for example, that's a great asset for any innovation director that needs to deal with more simultaneous ideas.
Fascinating. And Maria, how would this process look like at EyeSee?
Well, we start off by using highly realistic online representations of brick and mortar environments through our virtual shelves, which provide almost immersive shopping experiences for our respondents. Secondly, we use behavioral measures within these contextual, highly realistic environments, which yield better prediction of real-life decisions. There is a 0.8 correlation with in-store behavior versus survey that has correlation of 0.2. Thirdly, we have a team of dedicated experts that analyzes data with statistical rigor and help interpret and fully understand the performance beyond SKU level, such as category, brand portfolio, switching power, cannibalization. We also use modular standardized protocols depending on clients' questions to focus on different aspects of NPD, such as pricing, pack, and claims. Having said that, we conduct studies that are fast, scalable, global, and don't require a lot of input data or effort from our clients.
Now let's talk a bit about the trends. Angeliki, which NPD trends do you think will start to emerge in 2022 in the healthcare industry or beyond?
So we see this trend of e-commerce. We see a lot of need around the physical, beyond physical to mental health and holistic health. And another element in that space is, I think, related to the need to quicker diagnose and self-diagnose. So we see in that space the testing kits that are occurring more and more, like addressing, let's say, the sleep and stress issues, where we have innovations in that can evaluate, the vital hormones that do not let us sleep well and don't have restful night sleeps. And that's super, important to think holistically, even more after pandemic.
Personally, I would like to see producers taking a more radical stance on sustainability, whether it implies innovation in packaging, ingredients, or maybe waste management. On the other hand, I also expect this divide that is emphasized by the global pandemic, the divide between people who are turning more towards natural solutions and people who have an increasing interest in what science has to offer. I expect this divide will also be visible in the products they choose to buy, whether it comes to food, even more to cosmetics and personal care, OTC, and similar categories. I expect we will have more of both going forward. Also, I would encourage clients to think about the digital first approach when launching a new product. The reality is that more people are buying online, and the first moment of truth, at least for some products, can be on the e-commerce site rather than in a physical store. The digital environment is offering some neat options and new opportunities when it comes to product presentation. And in EyeSee, we have adapted our methods for testing in this channel too.
How have the consumer demands changed? Have they brought new challenges?
I think they expect from us to give them support in their holistic wellness journey. And not only, and that is beyond products, they're expecting, to take care of them with our products, but also other elements, a whole ecosystem behind that. So we should not only consider, products, physical products, but also digital solutions to meet their wellness journey.
Were there some recent examples of innovation that left you impressed at Bayer or across industries?
In the space of digital health, I see amazing possibilities and a lot of innovation. One innovation that I saw in that space and I said, wow, okay, we're getting even further in that space is with Oura Ring, that is a 24/7 heart rate monitoring and gives you personalized insights, health insights. It can measure your sleep and mood and can identify symptoms of depression and anxiety that we see that have really elevated in that space. So honestly, this digital health space impresses me even more and more. And I think alongside with the metaverse, we're going to see a lot of things, amazing possibilities with immersive experiences.
And what about you, Stijn? Are there any that stood out to you?
I can think of 2 experiments we helped to create that I'm really fond of. And the first one is about finding problem-solution fit. The company Henkel was considering the development of a new detergent dispensing device, and they used Indiegogo. as a crowdsourcing platform to probe consumer interest. Of course, that campaign was not actually meant to get funding, but to start interacting with lead users. And because they got skin in the game with these pre-sales, that provided a really strong validation of that problem solution fit. And that's why I really like that one. A second example that I can think of is in a recent project that we've done with a major beverage company. We wanted to validate a new dispensing device and probe the purchase intent and the pricing sensitivity of that device. So the team mimicked a product launch at Walmart and just observed through A/B testing which appliances users put in their shopping cart. And of course, those boxes, they didn't contain any product yet. So shoppers had to be intercepted before they moved over to the checkout, and then they got reimbursed for their trouble with a coupon. And then on another day of the week, the team experimented with ABC level pricing, and they got great results. And this type of experiment is, in my opinion, as close as you can get to real sales data without spending a dime on actual technology development. So, that's another great example of how to hack the innovation process.
Thanks, guys. Milica, you were a part of an extensive study that validated our newest NPD solution. Can you share some of the learnings from it and tell us what's the specific role of behavioral methods in this process?
Yes, just recently we have conducted an NPD study that aimed to verify the EyeSee NPD solution that Maria described against real-life sales data. To give you a bit of the background, just like any NPD, the product in question here has a specific proposition. It comes from a beloved and trusted brand, leading in its category, but enters a completely new space, breakfast category. With its type of packaging and position on the shelf, this product should represent an alternative to, let's say, instant oatmeal breakfasts. This product has been launched on the local market just a few months before our study, so we could longitudinally follow the development of its sales on one hand, and on the other hand, conduct the study among consumers unaware of its existence. In this way, we have confirmed that EyeSee NPD solution, based on virtual shelves, gives a good estimate of real NPD sales in the first year of launch. Additionally, the switching analysis on SKU level uncovered that not only oatmeals, but some less expected breakfast categories also represent a relevant competition to this NPD. Consumers don't switch within same product category and same packaging type, but within same flavor, same price range, and consumption purpose. We have also incorporated some modular, standardized protocols within this NPD study: packaging and concept testing, and pricing evaluation. Therefore, we were able to see which elements of the concept, although communicated, did not reach consumers yet, and how a reformulation of certain elements of the packaging can enhance NPD's performance in the future.
And why is it important to conduct studies like this? How should brands go about testing NPDs?
Well, not only our experience has shown that testing before the launch significantly increases the chances of success. I don't think testing NPDs is questionable anymore. On the contrary, the logic of pre-launch testing is something that has spread far beyond the boundaries of FMCG. So now the new normal, even in IT product management, is to pre-screen and test before launch. The real challenge is to choose an efficient and fast methodology in order to get the right answer and not the wrong assessment with your research. In a way, the NPD test is an assessment of market potential, yes, but also a risk assessment.
How can this solution be applied to innovation in industries outside of FMCG, such as digital innovation?
Companies are aware that today's omni shopper is using both physical and digital channels, and that e-commerce is becoming one of the more important touch points along the consumer journey and path to purchase. Besides our highly realistic environment for brick and mortar, we are able to replicate sophisticated e-commerce environments as well, such as websites, product lists, and product detail pages, and then assess the performance of new products and hero images within those environments.
Interesting. Now, what is one thing you would like listeners to take home with them after the session? Your one key takeaway from today?
I'd say dare to innovate, make bigger leaps, and test along the way, because that's what opens the door to becoming a true category leader.
Be bold when testing NPDs, as experimental designs with the virtual shelves and behavioral and traditional measures combined yield better prediction of real-life decisions.
Well, ideas are cheap, but execution is hard. And so you have to enable your workforce to accelerate innovation development, because a company that masters lean experimenting, they will outcompete any other on the long run. And that's my firm belief.
One thing to remember, the NPD testing process is not linear. Map and bring to life early on the consumer shopper journey, starting from the unmet needs. Fully immerse as cross-functional team, revisit the journey mapping frequently, and check after each test if you land to the desired outcome, and if not, activate your what-if scenarios and retest.
I would say make sure to wisely choose the research partner. Look up for solutions that have been validated against real-life sales data. And of course, go beyond the obvious. Think digital as well as brick and mortar to find the untapped opportunities that could elevate any consumer experience.
Thank you everyone for this insightful conversation, and thanks again to Quirks for hosting it. Of course, thank you all for joining us today. If you have any additional questions about testing NPDs, feel free to reach out to us. We would be more than happy to work with you.